Alright, so for a while now I've been wanting to make some C++ videos. I think I had started making a bioinformatics series on Ubuntu, but I don't know, I hadn't had the chance or the time. I've been really busy lately, but I want to start this series today, and we're going to go over some basic things and some basic programming for those of you who are just beginning. So let's go to the compiler. So there are a number of compilers you can download online. This is one that I downloaded. It's called Dev C++. It's pretty good. So you go to File, Source. Now every C++ program begins with a library, or you need to tell it to what to include. So this is going to say include IOStream. And some of the older compilers will require that you say iostream.h. But if you have a compiler that's old, I recommend upgrading it. But the IO stands for input-output, and that will be like the standard heading for now for all of our programs that we do. We're going to say using namespace.std. This means that we're going to have standard spacing between letters and words. That's another thing. Just like out at the top of your paper you would write your name and date, at the top of your C++ program you're going to write, the libraries. You can have more than one library, and using namespace. We're going to start off just writing in main, and then we'll add functions maybe in the next video. So just say int main. I mean, main in itself is a function. You're going to have type, the class that's going to be in the function, so I said integer, and then main is the name of the function itself. Main is the only function we're going to write in this program, and then on the inside there's no variables. If we were writing a function, as we'll do later, we'll say int, and then maybe we'll call it function1, and then in the parentheses we'll write some variables which we can use in that function, which can be used to do some kind of mathematical formula or whatever, and then that math formula, whatever's returned, will be can be called on in main. We're jumping ahead of ourselves. Let's go just write a simple program first. Say int pause. This is just a simple hello world program we're going to do first. So cout is just picture C is the name of the language, and then output. So this is what's going to be printed on the screen, and whatever's inside the parentheses here will be printed. So if I say hello, my name is Joe, that will be printed. Now there are two ways that we can write the end line. End line tells the computer whatever's printed here, after that go to the next line. So if you have many output statements with no inline, you're going to have just like a stream of, it's going to go off the screen. It's going to be too long. It's not going to word wrap. So hello, my name is Joe. You can say /in, then close the parenthesis, then semicolon, or you can in the quotes and then do more greater than signs here and say indel. Either way is acceptable. I always prefer to do the /in, but indel works just the same. And then if I can say, this is it, and just return 0, and then close my bracket here and it'll run. But you'll see that it executes the program, and so quickly. I have to save it first. It's called. Alright. So it runs so quickly that it just disappears. I mean, you saw like a flash. So we're going to make it wait so that we can read it. You can say cin, and that's input from the user. And I just called it pause. You can call it anything you like and it'll work. And what it's doing is it's just waiting. Say hello, my name is Joe. And now it's waiting for input into the variable pause. So it recognizes it. I called pause integer, so it's looking for a number. So I'll say 2 and enter. Now if I wanted to, I could say cout pause, and then this would rewrite whatever's in that variable, but we'll see whatever we put into it. Alright, so it's waiting for an integer, so say 5, and output that second 5. And now it's waiting for me to rewrite that or put something else into pause. So I put another 5. Now if we output it again, you'll see that information in variables can be written and rewritten over and over again. That's why you have to be very careful when you're using variables not to accidentally rewrite data that's in there. If you wanted to add data to it, you would want to be careful that you're not going to rewrite whatever was already in there. So let's say pause is 10. It's going to output 10 to me, and it's waiting for pause again. So I'm going to say that it's 8. And you notice how it looks like it's all in one line. It looks like 10 and then 8, and it turns into like 108. It should output 8. And it's waiting again for something else. Now, if we want to make it go to the next line, of course, we can always say indel or /n by itself. This is how we do this. Cout, and within the quotes, we say /n and semicolon. If you notice that all the C++ statements we've used so far end with a semicolon. So this will clean it up a little bit, and we'll see. Hello, my name is Joseph. We'll say 10. 10 was output, and then the next line is going to be 8. 8 is output. So we get an idea here of what we can do with this. This is going to be part 1. So here I've already included the standard stuff that's going to always be in our programs. The include IO stream using namespace, the int, return 0. Some of the nicer compilers that I've seen will actually include all this stuff automatically when you start a new source file. Like, it just assumes that you need this, which you do. But let's start with declaring variables and doing input, output, that kind of thing. And we can maybe make a simple calculator program in this first series. So to declare a variable, you list, or you type in what type of variable you want to use. That can be an integer, it can be a char, it can be a double, a float, long double. If you notice all of the words that I just typed in, the compiler automatically bolded them because it knows that those are key words. So you would never, of course, want to name a variable int, or never name a variable char, because that would just be, the computer would be confused with that, and it would, you might not be able to. I don't even think it'll let you do that. But let's make a simple calculator program, and you get the idea of how it works. So we'll say int num1, num2 result. Now you can put as many variables on a line separated by commas as you want. So obviously that saves space and it makes it all on one line. Commenting is a good idea if it's not obvious. I mean, I wouldn't comment and say, like, these are my variables, because that's obvious. You want to comment with things that are not apparent if you look at them, they're not obvious. Like if you have some kind of calculation, or, some kind of, if-else, or, loop, or something that's not obvious why it's there, you'd want to comment with a little explanation. But, so let's have the user say, cout, this is a simple calculator program. Then we're going to /n. I'm going to cout again and say, please enter number 1, or first number. The first number. And then cn, the computer is going to wait for the user to input a variable into num1. You can think of variables as buckets, and whatever the user puts in to num1 is like, whatever they put into that bucket that's going to hold some information, the computer will understand as num1. The computer doesn't understand English, so I named the variable num1, and if you read that, you'd be like, okay, well, that's the first number. But the computer doesn't really recognize that. I mean, if I wanted to, you know, I could name the variable x, y, z, and you know, the computer would not care, but you should always name the variables something clear that everyone can understand. So let's say cout, and you notice how the greater than, less than signs are different depending on cin and cout. Please enter the second number. Cn 2, and then you're going to say cout the first number added to the second number is, and I'm not going to do end line there because I left a little space after is, and I want it to tell the result on that line. So I'm going to say result, and if you notice this is backwards from what you would normally do in like real math. You wouldn't say like 5 equals 2 plus 3, you would say 2 plus 3 equals 5. But in C++ it's a little bit backwards like that. So I say result equals num1 plus num2, and then I'm just going to cout result. And we'll compile that using, see there's an error there because I didn't say using namespace std. Standard. Alright, this is a simple calculator program. Please enter the first number. So say 2. Please enter the second number, 3. I didn't pause it there, so let's just say char pause. Make the computer wait because it just flashes in an instant. Cn pause. Make it wait for something, some input, so we can read what we really want to see, our real output. Right, please enter the first number, 2, and 3. The first number added to the second number is 5. Next video, we're going to do a real calculator program that actually gives the user an option to whether or not it wants to multiply, add, divide, whatever. And we're going to introduce the if statement as a conditional. Thanks for watching.